Hello and welcome to today's episode of Point of Disorder Shorts. Today we are so excited to welcome Jess Newman onto the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Finally.
Yes, I know you've been clamoring to come on. No, actually, we've been trying to figure out a reason to get you on.
She is only human. Yeah. Most people are clamoring to get on here, Gina.
This is the hottest podcast around.
Deep penetration.
Oh, man. What did I get myself into?
I'm not allowed to she's told me I'm not allowed to say that word.
Oh, jeez. Considering what we were talking about before we started recording.
And you're right. Let's get us back on track.
All right. So we're here today. Everybody knows, in Michigan here, we have citizen-led initiatives on the ballot every election year. And we are all three working together on a handful of initiatives that we want to get passed. But Jess is here today to tell us about how we're going to tax the fucking rich to make up for the shortfall in our public ed funding.
That's right. So I am part of, with these two lovely ladies, the Invest in My Kids initiative. So really simple. It's actually really cool because the text of the initiative itself is less than the summary that we're actually printing on the petition. So it's less than 100 words. Super simple. If you make over $500,000 a year as a single filer or $1 million a year as a joint filer, we're going to impose a small tax on your income, and we're going to put all that money toward our public school system. So we're looking at over $1.7 billion that we're going to raise.
So can you tell us a little bit, just a bit of background before we sort of dive into the ballot petition on why this is needed?
Absolutely. Well, gestures around, right? So we've had a funding crisis in the state of Michigan around our public school system for years, right? So some estimates say that we are actually underfunding, especially adjusted for inflation, by over $4.5 billion. So we are dead last when it comes to growth in public school funding. We have some of the highest class sizes in the country, and we also have a difficult time recruiting and retaining teachers in the state. So we have a huge problem with our public education system pre-existing.
This is going to blow both of your minds.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Strap yourself in.
I know, I'm holding on.
All of the Republicans who came before Big Gretch in the Michigan legislature in the government's house all cut K through 12 funding.
Oh my God.
Fucking shocking, right?
Including Schneider, who we spoke about in last week's episode. We were talking about Rick Schneider, who was the governor before Big Gretch,
Big Gretch,
yeah.
He is kind of like think of him as like the Monopoly villain, like
the poster boy for
running away with
choices,
bagfuls of money. So he basically he siphoned off over $4 billion from our public ed fund, basically to make up for a shortfall for corporate tax breaks he was giving.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Those poor corporations.
Yeah, they needed it more than those fourth graders needed new textbooks.
Absolutely.
So we ended up with bad schools and shitty roads is basically the outcome
Welcome
of
to
that.
Michigan, right? Make your home here. No, I mean, exactly, right? So this has been deliberate choices over 40 years. And again, this problem has only gotten worse in the last 20 years because we failed to adjust, like I said, for the rising cost of living, just cost of everything. But add to that, I mean, you all pay attention to what's been going on in the legislature and also, unfortunately, in the federal government. We're going to be looking at an even larger shortfall, even billions more dollars. They can't even pass a budget in our state legislature. They refuse to prioritize our children, so it's really no surprise that we got.
We're taking the power back.
That's right.
So I just want to talk for a minute on how that manifests itself in terms of the public education system here. So I know that when I first arrived here, I was getting requests from people whose wives or husbands were public school teachers asking me to help fund them, GoFundMe pages, basically for chairs for their classroom, like all this weird shit. And I didn't understand it. I had to have people explain to me. But can you explain to me like how underfunded our schools are here and how it manifests itself in terms of kids' education and what we end up with?
Yeah. So I threw out that number of $4.5 billion. So across the board, our public schools are underfunded by that amount. But in Michigan, we actually fund our schools through a bunch of different mechanisms, but primarily through property taxes. So the higher income areas have the things they need. They have the laptops, the high state-of-the-art facilities like, stages and art studios and photography studios, and they have brand new textbooks. And it's no surprise if you go down the street in the poorer areas, these teachers have to go online and crowdfund their supplies. They don't get enough money to even have a pencil for every kid or pen for every kid in their classroom. They don't have paper in their classroom. So you're seeing more and more teachers digging into their own pockets. They already don't make enough money.
So many of them have to work on the holidays, basically over the summer break.
They tutor, they pick up coaching jobs.
Work at Starbucks, God knows what else that they have to do in their summer breaks.
We ran into my daughter's kindergarten teacher serving at a Chinese restaurant in the mall.
Yep, it's incredibly common. One of my best friends has been a public school teacher for over 20 years, and she still has 2 to 3 jobs to supplement her income. She's been working in Macomb schools for a really long time.
And the greatest country on earth should have the greatest public education system on earth. That should be the foundation, right?
Absolutely. There is no reason why the wealthiest country in history shouldn't be able to provide a free and appropriate education, public education to every student in the state, in the country. There is no excuse for it.
And for those that are pushing back or thinking, okay, so should be, the taxing the rich portion of it? Because there are some comments around that. Because, as we always talk about, a lot of Americans think they're just one lucky break away from being a billionaire. That's $500,000 is for a single income earner, right? So it's everything above that they earn above that $500,000 will be taxed that extra 5%. Is that correct?
Exactly, that's right. So it's 5%, and so if you make $500,000 and $1, that $1 gets taxed that extra 5%. So every dollar you make above that would be taxed at this new effective rate, right? So before that, everything you earn, you keep the same 4.25% rate. It's just everything that you earn above that if you make $500,000, which I don't know about you guys. I don't make $500,000 a year.
Podcasting doesn't pay.
It doesn't really. Politics not that lucrative, right? I'm feeling all right about it, especially when you look at the average income in the state of Michigan is $45,000 a year. Yeah. People are allowed to thrive and do well for themselves, and they should pay their fair share.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for couples, it's $1 million. $1 million. So if you're a married couple and you're making $1 million,
you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You're doing okay.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, critics are going to say, oh, millionaires are going to move out. Never fucking happens.
Never happens.
No, I mean, and we do have case studies. I mean, if you look at Massachusetts, who implemented a tax on millionaires, actually what it did was created more millionaires in Massachusetts because the taxes went to programs that then lifted people out of poverty.
You need to invest.
Exactly.
It's like anything. You invest in yourself to get better. You need to invest in your children, in your community to basically grow the garden, right? You don't fucking stop watering the garden and expect it to, to grow beautiful trees.
Let me tell you, I don't have kids, right? You don't have kids.
No, I don't have kids.
I know you have kids, and so we're fighting for your kids, but I care about the schools in my community.
I think about it all the time. I mean, I've been working for many, many years and paid lots and lots of taxes. And, there is that kind of like, well, what do I need to for public education? Now, I tell you that I want the people that are serving me, I want the people that are working, even when I get old and I'm in an aged care facility, I want those people to be educated. I want those people, I think we all get better when we all get better, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. So I think it's so important to invest in, particularly in public education. I'm a product of public education in Australia. I look back at that and I think I'm very grateful for it.
Absolutely.
And I just think everyone should get the same opportunity.
Well, and for the people who only care about themselves, I'll tell you what, your property value is directly tied to the schools in your community. Mm-hmm. So the better your schools are, the more your home is going to be worth.
So true. So true.
You know, it's funny, when we were waiting with bated breath to see if the Board of Canvassers would approve our 100-word summary, which they made real hard, let me tell you.
Can I just say, I have a wonderful photo of Jess that I took because honestly, it was such an emotional moment.
Of Molly.
Of Molly and of Jess. Jess was there as well. Like they were all in tears because we'd been there for I don't know about you. I got up at 5:30 in the morning to get to Lansing, and then it was 6 o'clock at night before it actually came down. It was just, honestly, it was the most suspenseful thing I've ever been involved in.
I mean, they should have made it into a mini series or a movie or something. The way that they set up the drama there, but this is 10 years of hard work, more than that for some people. Molly Sweeney, who you mentioned, being one of those people. For me, it's over 6 years of work that we've put into building out this initiative, the theory behind the work that we're doing, the policy that we're putting forward, and how we're doing it, and the coalition that we've built. So it was a lot of drama.
And I remember I was involved at the very beginning when it was called Babies Over Billionaires.
That's right.
And I love that term. It's just that should be very simple, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Babies Over Billionaires.
This is a no-brainer for us.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to support Invest in My Kids. It's just, why wouldn't you? You know, we're at a situation in Michigan where we have the Republicans in our state house stripping things like mental health care out of your school budget, taking the school meals out of your budget, safety prevention programs out of I mean, this is hopefully going to create a new fund that will make sure your schools aren't seeing these ridiculous cuts and how harmful they're going to be.
So I think it's going to mitigate a lot of what's been going on, right?
Yeah,
so,
from the federal level and the state
exactly.
level.
So I never thought I would say this. Here's a silver lining to the one big beautiful bill. All these people that we're talking about that make over $500,000 just got a massive tax cut. So guess what? It sounds like they should funnel that money right back into the state coffers. It seems like a really easy trade-off to me.
We need to put that on a banner. That's a great idea.
It's just, good dovetail, in my opinion. But no, I think to your point, this is a no-brainer. This is going to create a new stream of revenue that will go to every public school in the state. It's going to fund technical education. It's going to fund retaining and recruiting those teachers that we talked about that are so crucial. And what I was going to say about that 100-word summary, the Board of Canvassers meeting, the opposition said something like, you could say that this thing's going to cure cancer, and you could put anything in here. And the funny thing is, you made the comment, where do you find your next cancer researcher?
Yeah.
Where do you find your next doctor, your scientists, the people that build the bridges that we drive over, the houses that we live in, that administer to the elderly in these institutions? They need to be nurtured in a strong, high-quality public education system.
Absolutely. And what I do want to point out is those people that were sprouting this bullshit at that day at the Board of Canvassers, we established they were basically came from out of state, and they're from the Federalist Society, the people that bought you Project 2025.
Heritage Foundation.
Oh, Heritage Foundation. Sorry, I get my foundations. You're forgiven. My evil foundations, I get them wrong all the time, so many of them.
The one instance of a paid protester, actually, he was flown out from Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Hey, can we talk for a minute? I love a ballot petition. Those that know me well know that we did a shit ton of them. We saved reproductive rights in 2022 as well as a number of other ballot petitions. So I have a very fundamental feeling now that the only way that we can get nice things is if we do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in 2022, and this is why we're so excited about these, and we signed on straight away to Still Social to be a part of this. We have all of our volunteers. So I do want to remind people, if you want to be part of this ballot petition, you need to sign up on Distill Social. Look at our website, watch our socials. We're going to be basically anyone that signed up to Distill Social will be invited to be able to come and be a collector. And when collecting signatures is really, really easy, and it's such a great feeling to be able to say, hey, I was part of this. Not just that I relied on voting for someone who may or may not end up supporting the things that I believe in, that you actually do it yourself. It is a fantastic feeling. And in terms of collecting signatures, you can just collect from your friends, family and neighbours, or you can be like some of our super volunteers that collect tens of thousands of signatures and do it day in, day out. But it's a simple project. How many signatures do we need to collect?
So we're looking at about 500,000 total. Easy, exactly. I'm sitting with two masters here that have done it before. There's already a groundswell of support. I think we have over 1,000 people already signed up amongst our coalition. If not, and I'm definitely undercounting that. I think that might just be the people who are trained to collect at this point. So we feel really confident, like you said, if you can collect one signature or 1,000, we have a way for you to participate.
Yeah. I have a dog who I walk a couple times a day, and I usually, like in 2022, I had Prop 3, like I had a clipboard with me, and everyone I passed along my walk fucking signed that petition.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Do you have a second to invest in our public education system here in the state of Michigan?
And this I feel like is like totally nonpartisan. Like, people want to see kids thrive. People want to see, our education be a quality, top-notch education, right? Like, people love their schools. Imagine when their schools are fully funded, how they're going to brag about their schools.
Well,
And I think the really important part about this is we're collecting signatures to get it on the ballot in 2026. And a reminder that in 2022, getting the ballot petitions that we got on the ballot were reproductive rights as well
Voting
as
rights.
promote the voting rights. And what that did in terms of bringing people out, your everyday person is way more likely to get out and vote in a midterm if they've got something. What do I say? I go back to my dear dad, in a 2-horse race, always back self-interest, at least you know it's trying. If people are able to go out and actually vote for something that's actually going to happen. So this is just basically getting on the ballot so that Michiganders get a chance to vote on Election Day in 2026.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Citizens, time to take your power back. You might not love, regardless of what party you're in, you might not love what your elected official is doing right now, but this is a chance for you to take the reins yourself and get our own boots on the ground and get something done by the people, for the people.
Yeah, and demonstrate to these elected officials that this is what the people want.
Yeah.
Because we had a trifecta, and what did we do with it? We did some good stuff. But the fact that we couldn't get a fully funded public education system, the fact that we couldn't get paid leave passed, that we couldn't get a minimum wage passed worth a damn, right? We need to be able to say, no, this is what we want, and run on an agenda that we know is popular. Well, you mentioned this is bipartisan. We actually have polling that shows that. We have polling that shows over 65% of people across the state of Michigan support the idea of taxing the wealthy and using that to pay for our public education system. And that's after we beat it up, right? That's after we go through all of the negative arguments against it, tell them this is going to pay for a millionaire's dog, right? They still support it. They still support raising their taxes, even if their own taxes are going to be increased, because they believe so strongly that every child in the state of Michigan deserves a high-quality public education.
Taking back our power.
Taking back our power. That's right.
Yeah, well, like Julie said, if you come to distillsocial.com and check out the My Ballot Petition tab, you'll be able to sign up to volunteer to help collect signatures. Highly recommend it. Or you can go to our app and find the little ballot petition icon on there as well.
And our app is Distill Social. And I just want to point out, it doesn't matter where you are in Michigan. We've got volunteers all over the state. So sign up and we'll connect you with a person in your area, get you trained, get all the equipment that you need, clipboards, the petitions, all of that stuff is all there waiting for you.
This is honestly like one of the most gratifying ways that somebody can partake in our political system. I know people are asked to donate to campaigns and to knock on doors or to text bank and phone bank. But when you're doing it for yourself as part of a citizen-led initiative, it just there's a different feeling to it. Yeah. And then you get to join a community of other people working on the same project together. I just love the feeling of these ballot petitions. It's probably my favorite part of campaign season.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, we do have some fun parties.
We do have some fun parties. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Jess. Thank you for all you do. You are a rock star. And we feel just happy to be able to breathe the same air as you. So thank you.
I feel so lucky to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
So these petitions will be in the wild shortly. So if somebody asks you to sign on to Invest in My Kids, your answer is, where do I sign up? Let's go.
Exactly.
That's right.
And, I just want to point out that we're going to have on Distill Social, we'll be putting out the ballot petitions to sign and the ballot petitions not to sign, because there will be some of those around as well. So we need to just, we'll make sure that we keep you updated and give you some information on that as well.
That's right. Thanks for coming on the show,
Of course.
Jess.
Thank you for having me.
You'll be back soon. I'm sure we'll find a reason.
We can get up to more trouble.
All right. See everyone next week.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.